Policing Inquiry, Tranche 2, Phase 2.
Yeah.
It's been a while. We're listening to the live evidence of DCI Malcolm MacLeod, HN69, who's being questioned by Emma Gartiter. I'm joined by Heather Mendick. What do you make of him?
Well, at first it was very slow and very dull, and he was doing these long sentences with long pauses. Then he suddenly became coherent.
Yeah, it's true.
Yeah, and there was a kind of moment where he was being asked very specifically about the recruitment processes and what he thought about different officers, where his answers got very substantive, and he revealed stuff that I think we haven't really heard before.
He ended very strongly. I mean, it was something he said in his witness statement referred to the human frailties of undercover officers, and he was pushed on that a bit because he'd said it in reference to excessive alcohol use.
Yeah.
They were talking about HN4, cover name Andy Bryant, who they've refused to name, but is well known as being an infiltrator during the class war in the 1990s. But it was pushed. Did he mean human frailties when it came to the undercover officers having sex with their target? And he said, "Oh no, not at all." And he was put. Well, were they exploiting the situation? Absolutely, yes.
Yes, I don't understand that answer. He's obviously got a specific understanding of human frailty, which is a bit different than we might have, or Emma might have. And he definitely, I think he sees that as manipulative, almost. Whereas alcoholism, you're losing yourself, you're not in control, and I think that's what he was talking about. Whereas he sees these people as very much in control, but wrong. He's very clear it's morally wrong. He had no idea, and weirdly, I actually find him coming over quite honest.
He is. I mean, I think he is the most believable forgetfulness. He doesn't remember things, but I mean, I don't know. I mean, maybe we're cutting him too much slack, but as you look at him, he looks a bit slightly bewildered on times.
Yeah, and we've got this situation where we're not allowed to be in the same physical space as him, and perhaps that's because of his health or something, that he would feel threatened by having a lot of people around him, which makes you feel like he's more frail. Because we are allowed to physically see him. It's very unusual to be able to see him, but not to be able to be in the same room with him, which must be about protecting his health.
Well, I wonder if it's just the setup for HM1 on Wednesday and Thursday, and they've just rearranged everything here for that, and then we've got it for that reason.
Yeah, but, possibly.
He was the notes of Operation Hearn were put to him, where he refers to the recruitment of potential undercover officers as pretty piss poor at the time, and he doesn't. He stands by the statement, which is unusual. Most officers, when presented with the notes from Operation Hearn, have gone, "Oh, I was misquoted."
Absolutely. Yeah.
But he's like, "Oh no, that's true." I mean, he apologises for the language, but he doesn't apologise for the sentiment.
No, and he's very unclear what he thinks could be done about it. He mentions psychometric testing multiple times,
which he also says was brought in later, which suggests that that this practice still carries on, which we've always believed. But,
for sure. But he also is very vague on whether psychometric testing could have dealt with any of the problems that come up with Mike Chitty, with Bob Lambert, or anything. And it's obviously.
I think he's got a fair point there, because I think it's something which goes much deeper into the nature of male heterosexuality and abuse, and something which is much more at the core, really, of the patriarchal society in which we live in, beyond policing. Which I think this is a problem for policing, but it's also a problem for the patriarchy in general. So
yes, it goes way beyond policing. And what happens is you take men who have certain attitudes and you put them in a position where they can take it wrong, and behave in certain ways. And then you see the kind of ultimate endpoint of a lot of men's behaviour, I guess.
But I think this point was developed really well in the opening statement of the Cat H, of the dark playground, essentially, which these men were given the opportunity to play in, really, which I think kind of goes to the core, really, of what the issue was about.
So the one thing he's not able to really take on anything except that was an individual failing of these men. So he's not really able to take on structures in the way we're talking about it in terms of patriarchy, but also he's not able to take on structures in terms of the actual unit. And Emma's quite good, the woman is questioning him, pushing him a bit on that. Isn't there things you could have done? Didn't you need to talk to them about this? Could you just assume that morality would hold sway? And he's kind of like, well, yes, in retrospect, but he won't take on that actually it wasn't just they didn't talk to them about morality, but there were things in that unit that were encouraging this kind of behaviour, that were the kind of culture of the Met Police, but also the culture in the meetings where they're making sort of sexual comments, and I guess she's going to come onto that and ask him about those meetings.
I would imagine so. Yeah. I mean, it's been a theme of a lot of her questioning previously.
Yeah.
It appears we're going to have Emma Gardner all week.
Yes, which is good.
Which
right?
is good. Yeah. As I understand it, this will be her last tranche with the inquiry, which is a shame because I think she's been one of the better barristers we've seen.
Yeah, I like her a lot because she seems to get stuff out of people that no other person seems to manage to get, including David Barr, who's generally also quite sharp. He doesn't seem to be able to kind of catch people unawares. There's a way she questions people, which, I mean, maybe she's being authentic and maybe she isn't. Maybe it's technique, but she comes over as genuinely just saying to people, why didn't you do this? Why did you do that? What was going on there? Do you want to come clean on this?
Yeah.
Which gets to people.
It does. I think she's doing a very good job. There's lots more to come. Anything else you want to add?
No, I think people should watch this because if you switched off earlier because it was slow and dull, it's not going to stay slow and dull. He is going to say some stuff.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
I think partially his advanced age and his slightly kind of forgetful sort of nature actually seems to be feeding into him being a bit more honest maybe than some others who are pretending to be forgetful. Perhaps he's forgotten a bit of a martyr, sort of, the thing of silence slightly.
Must be something as well when you're approaching death. I just read a novel about a woman who's dying, and there's something about coming clean. And I think there might be something going on with him that he wants to be like, I don't want to die with this stuff on my conscience.
Maybe.
Perhaps. And I'm giving him a lot of leeway here. There must be some. I guess I always want redemption.
Yes,
And it's awful to not have that in this. I really struggle with it because there is no redemption.
Yeah.
These people are just bad people.
Yeah. It's something was definitely something that Chris Bryan from the Undercover Research Group has mentioned a number of times, is that when you're in the process you kind of keep wanting to say the right thing and then they don't and you're like, oh come on please, you don't want it to be as bad as it actually is, but it really is that bad. And I think we should remember that he was only DCI of the unit for 14 months.
Oh, it was 14 months.
It was a very short period of time. There were only 3 officers recruited while he was there. That was HN87 John Liscombe, HN25 Kevin Douglas, and John Dines. He referred to Liscombe and Dines both as he gets some really, really glowing things about how it was an admirable unit. These were, which was really quite strong and quite offensive. But he said that he considered them disreputable. Those two particular officers he referred to as disreputable. Right. So I mean that's something. He hasn't really been pushed on Lambert yet, though he has been questioned about it. We'll wait and see what he's going to say about him.
Absolutely,
We'll be back after lunch. He's here for 2 days, so there's plenty more to come.
Yeah.
Thanks for joining.
Yeah, that's really interesting actually.